Hello everyone, my name is Lorthorn and welcome to How to Requiem, the Death Alternative mod for Minecraft version 1.18.1. The mod is by Pyrofab the Modsmith, Dr. 4T, and Sklinchar15. It is for the Java edition of Minecraft and available in Fabric for the mod engine. The mod is a little bit difficult to figure out, but once you have it, it's pretty straightforward from there. So, to get started with Requiem, the Death Alternative mod, all someone has to do is die. Now before that, we should talk about some of the things you should get prepared before you die, which will make the mod a lot easier, and the steps you go through while within this mod. As you can die before doing all the necessary things, it's a death alternative, and dying should really be avoided in Minecraft. So, with that in mind, the first thing you should really want to do is go through another portal and find yourself a Soulstone Valley. The Soulstone Valley will contain a structure, hopefully that loosely resembles this. It'll be made out of the town-like material anyways. This material is the core material of the mod, is what you're looking for to mine. Within it there is the normal Tanzilient blocks, stairs, various decorative blocks, and there is the derelict Tanzanite, however you pronounce it. This stuff is the main resource you want to find to mine. When mining it, you want to use a pickaxe that has fortune on it, as the resource you're looking for from derelict Tanzanite only has a 20% chance to drop, but with every level of fortune, the chances of dropping increase by 10%. And as it is a rare resource, and as it is a rare block and hard to come across, and also takes a lot of time to mine, it is best to have as much fortune as possible. What you are looking for from the derelict Tanzanite is shattered soul vessels. These soul vessels will hopefully be common to you, although it all does come down to chance, and you will find that most Tanzanite structures do not have nearly as much derelict Tanzanite, whatever, do not have nearly as much derelict Tacolite as you would like. But once you've gotten as much as you can get out of it, it's also just a good idea to mine the normal Tacolite slabs or blocks. The staircases are a little more difficult to use, but there is uses for Tacolite as well, which we will get into. Once you have shattered Tacolite, you also will want to acquire yourself some gold. Gold is another very important resource for this mod, and thankfully there's a lot of it within the Nether, but there's also a bunch of it in the overworld to find as well. And, as well as gold, you want to acquire Crine Obsidian, and Basalt, all resources to keep in mind that will be needed. And while you're searching for these resources, you may also come across these guys here. They will hopefully spawn near your tack-like structure, and they are the main traders of this mod. They are what let you do things. Without them, you can't really proceed in this mod besides the most simplistic of things. From these gentlemen, the main object that you will want to trade is the empty soul vessel. This is a combination of a shattered soul vessel and a gold ingot, and they'll give you the repaired empty soul vessel. And this is just what you want out of them. All their trading is the same, and they have various different other items from the mod. They hold all the core items that you need to get, although none of them are as important as the empty soul vessel. Now that you have yourself an empty soul vessel, you can die more freely, although it's still recommended to avoid it as long as possible, but you can also use the empty soul vessel to its potential, and that's where this mod gets interesting. See, Requiem is a rather unique mod in what it allows you to do, and you're probably aware of the main idea behind it, which is, in Requiem, when you die, you can choose to become a demon, and we'll get to that eventually. But when you are a demon, you can possess the bodies of creatures. However, you can only possess undead, unless you steal the soul of the creature, and the soul stealing is done with the soul shards. And once you've taken the soul, you get a very vacant creature left behind that can no longer interact really with the world, such as this pig, and we happen to have its soul. Now something I forgot to mention is you can right click with the filled soul shown to release the soul, and then reuse the soul stone after that. Then once you have the empty out creature, you can die, and it'll give you the option to become a demon. This is a rather dangerous thing, but it's the alternative to death. So if you're playing hardcore, you can actually use this to get around dying. Then, when you are ghost, you can possess the creature and take it over if it happens to have an empty soul, such as this pig here. Now, pigs aren't a great creature to possess. I shouldn't even have that pickaxe. They actually can't pick it up. That was a bug there. But pigs can't carry anything. They're not great. They eat vegetables. A pig is a rather useless creature to possess. Thankfully, you can possess a lot of different things. But first, we need to go into a more suitable host than a pig. So we're going to die again. And when you die again, you return back to the ghostly form, and you can go back to possessing other creatures. The best creatures to possess are ones that can actually interact with the world, like zombies. Now, zombies are soulless undead to begin with, so they're actually quite a free creature to possess. However, when you are a zombie, you suffer all of the same things that zombies suffer, such as burning up in sunlight. Luckily, hats do solve this problem, as they do in zombies, although it does burn through their duration. Now, while a zombie can interact with the world, it's not like being back to your old self, which is the thing you really want. And to go back to being your old self, you just follow the exact same process that you would to turn a villager back human. A weakness potion, and a golden apple. The duration will take as long as the duration of the weakness potion, so try to get lower duration weakness potions for doing this, as there are 15-minute duration weakness potions which make this process incredibly tedious. When you're in your human form, it returns you completely back to normal. There's an effect called Attrition that occurs every single time you die that reduces your max health, but returning to human form will remove that condition. Now that you are back in your material form, or you never left it, let's continue on with what you should be doing in this mod and how to progress and get things done. Now that you're back to your mortal form, and perhaps you've collected several souls and soul stones, we can get back into the trading with these guys. Now their trading gets a little more complicated as you go along, because buying from them requires you to have certain souls in their cases, such as getting the Emperor requires you to have a Piglin soul, or getting the Reclement Inker requires you to have an Axolotl soul. Now, why would you want to buy these souls? Well, they apply effects to you, and these effects are useful to you in the game. Sort of. The top two are useful, the bottom two have negative effects on you. I think that you get the bottom two as a counter to demons, and the top two to positive yourself. So buy the bottom two if you hate demons, and buy the top two if you yourself are a demon that possesses things. Now, when you have these stones that are attuned to whatever force, such as the Attrition stone, when you activate it, it will apply a level of attrition to yourself. Attrition is a negative debuff that reduces your max health. Attrition can be mitigated through Reclamation, which is this golden effect. When Reclamation ticks down, it will get rid of attrition from you. These effects can also be cleared with the command code effect clear. Milk does not clear them. The other two effects, Penance and Emancipation, that's it. Penance and Emancipation have their own uses. Penance stops you from leaving your body and claiming new souls, and is rather terrible, so we'll just chuck that. Whereas Emancipation applies the Emancipation effect to yourself, and allows you to leave your body with the set hotkey in the hotkey menus. At a default, it is comma, and then you can leave your own body behind and be an emancipated soul freely traveling about without your body. And it sort of gets left behind in a weird fugue state. Then you can go off to possess some new undead. And while you still have Emancipation, you can then leave that undead body and travel back to your own. Also, using Emancipation makes it so you don't gain attrition like you would whenever you die. There are a few cool things about being in spirit form. Mainly, you can travel and fly creatively. You actually don't have any access to inventory while you're in spirit mode. But you can also travel through walls. If you are on the ground and you start holding yourself against the wall, you will get these effects, and then you can phase through the wall, come out to the other side, and go straight through it. You can also travel through the floor by crouching down long enough, and you'll slowly drift into the floor. And while you're down there, you can see possessible bodies through the darkness. They'll be outlined with this glowy effect. And you can also freely return back to your body as long as no one else occupies it while you are gone, which I think is actually a rather cool idea. Now, if you decided not to become a demon, you can still become a demon later on by trading with one of these traders and buying the sealed remnant vessel, which will curse you into becoming a demon. But you may come across the problem of actually finding these guys and getting them to hire, because trading with them is immensely important to this mod. So how do you get them? Well, you get them from building these structures. These structures happen to attract them. They like hanging out around them. They will also sometimes hang around the old derelict structures if you're lucky, but these ones will actually summon them to your location. Now, to build these structures, you can use the collected tacolite that you happen to have, and you can also craft more of it, using up filled soul vessels, obsidian, and basalt, as shown here. Tacolite can be put into a stonecutter's table and turned into all sorts of fancy forms. But also, the raw tacolite material can be crafted into tacolite runestones. Be aware that tacolite is as tough as obsidian, so it takes a very long time to mine, but that's just something to bear with. To make a tacolite runestone, you'll need tacolite and weepy obsidian, and then you can simply craft yourself the runestone as depicted here. The next step you want to make is to make the tacolite frame for your obelisk. These structures here are called obelisks, and they can be about any size, and the basic idea behind them is you create a frame out of tacolite, which is hollow inside and has soul sand underneath it, and then it has the runestones placed within the center. And when it is completed, the runestones will light up and glow. If any part of it is damaged, this will dismiss the runestones. Now, this structure by itself is useless. It won't summon anything. To get the structure that summons to you the traders, you need to also add a soul rift to the structure. The soul rift requires 4 of the runestones, 4 weeping obsidian, and an ender pearl, and this will give you the soul rift. The soul rift is then put in place of one of the runestones, and this will encourage the coming about of a trader. Although I think we have a lot of them already spawned in the area, so there's no guarantee we'll get any more. But this will encourage them to appear. Now, the soul rift also has the alternative of being able to let you travel from soul rift to soul rift, apparently. However, for the life of me, I have not been able to figure it out. Nothing I do seems to actually work to get me through these soul rifts to go to another one, and it has been very mind-boggling to me. Now, the other use for these obelisks is to have a permanent effect applied around the area of the 4 effect stones that you have. Runestones can be imbued with these shards to make them the shard of that type. And as long as you have the runestone completely filled out, then it will complete the structure. Now, this structure here has runes of every type, including the default, and is a rather terrible structure as it gives the negative effects as well as the positive, and we don't really want any of these getting applied to us. But I think the idea behind this would be you build these runestones to discourage demons from entering your area if you want to avoid that, or you build one purely for its ability to give you permanent reclamation, as these structures do not ever run out as long as they're powered with the soulstone, which gives them infinite souls, whereas the gems are consumed when you use them up. Applying the attunement does consume it from the soul, so you'll need at least one to activate it. But you can just get yourself the permanent effect applied, which is really good. Penance is an amazing effect to have on yourself. And it requires far less trading with the traders once you have one of these structures set up to have emancipation, sorry, not penance, emancipation applied to yourself permanently. Now, unfortunately, stealing a creature's soul is not guaranteed, and in fact can fail. In the case of this panda, trying to take its soul can fail. When it fails, this will give you attrition and also shatter your soul vessel. There's a chance that it will fail, and the more HP and stronger the creature is, the more likely it is to fail. However, you can actually guarantee the effects of a soul stealing working, with few exceptions, by taking the creative soul gem, which is a cheat item, putting it in your offhand, taking an empty soul vessel in your main hand, and draining the creature with that. But without such said creative mode, it is random chance that you will be able to steal the souls of the creatures. Now, the souls you can take are wide and varied, and you can get a lot of them. With emancipation applied, we can possess all sorts of creatures. Like this cat, you're faster, can climb through smaller spaces, skitter about, and can't see red. You can possess a bee, and you get honeycomb vision. You can probably sting things, apply poison to them. You can take over a panda, and actually have a crafting table, an inventory, and the ability to use your hands. Dogs also can't see red. Okay. Now, most creatures you possess don't have inventory or availability to crafting, and they can't interact with the world in a whole bunch of ways. This changes, however, when you possess a villager. Villagers have full inventory, they're fully living, they can eat food, they have hunger, and they can gain experience. Basically, any other creature you possess cannot do this, but the villagers and pillagers can actually craft and get experience and do things, and eat food, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Pillagers are actually considerably stronger than a villager, although they aren't quite as fast. And what's really interesting is if you're a pillager, you can ride a ravager. Alternatively, steal its soul and take it over as your own. Although, as a pillager, as a ravager, all you can really do is kill everything and be a big grump. Now, some mobs cannot be possessed, such as creepers. And, well, I thought Endermen, but apparently you can possess them, and theirs is a really, really weird world. That is a trippy nightmare. Even the humble invoker can be possessed. The invoker cannot wear armor, but he can call his vexes to hunt a target. Ah. I see the invoker's attack is how he summons. That is actually basically it. You can possess any undead creature. You can possess anything that has its soul removed or does not have a soul. Of course, removing souls from them has a chance of failure. There are a few effects in the game, such as zombies can heal themselves through the consumption of rotten flesh, and skeletons can replace the bones within their bodies to recover from the damage. Also, if a zombie is submerged in water long enough, they will turn into a drowned. This also applies that if you're a zombie in a desert, you'll become a husk, and skeletons submerged in water, I think, will become strays. I actually don't remember how strays spawn, but you can basically do the whole conversion thing. Now, one of the drawbacks of being undead is you don't get experience when you kill your targets. They just die and drop their loot, and they usually don't even drop rare loot. However, there is an enchantment you can add to your swords, which is called Humanity. And Humanity makes it so they do drop XP, and you gain XP via killing them, which is the way that undead get XP, is through regaining humanity, through killing stuff with their sword. Finally, a few more details. Most creatures do not have the ability to sleep, but foxes, cats, villagers, and illagers do, as well as dogs, I'm pretty certain, and they can just use a bed like a human, sleep, and get the spawn point set, sort of, in those bodies. They can pass time anyways. And that is about it for things you can do within Requiem, the Death Alternative mod, and that is how you do most of it. I hope this was comprehensive and useful. If not, let me know, and I will remake the video better than it was before. But before I go, I do want to show you one last cool feature you can do. Now, one of the ideas behind Requiem is that you play it in hardcore as a death alternative. So you die, but you actually don't die permanently. You become a ghost and you can possess things and you can come back and turn into things, which is a rather cool idea. But because of the nature of being able to become a zombie and then turn back into your human form, you can actually have spare bodies lying around, and you can have multiple people possess the one entity that you are, which is, I think, a very cool feature. If I apply Emancipation to myself and leave the body, I can go possess the backup Lorthorn. Then I can leave that one. I can possess this Lorthorn. And you can sort of have just two of them there, go possess a new body, and you can make yourself a whole collection of spare bodies, which is very cool. It's a very nifty feature. So yeah, that's basically the experience of Requiem, how to go about and do it, and how to have a death alternative if you're playing hardcore or just like the idea of possessing things because you're weird. Yeah, anyways, later.
Tausend Jahre durch die Nacht haben mich zu dir gebracht.